Welcome to Organizational Behavior Management 280, offered online by Harper College. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. Well, we're at chapters 16, which means we're close to the end. That means we're at the last chapter. If I look at chapter 16, organizational change, or changing your organization, everything you've learned through this whole course, all the 15 other chapters. It's about, organic, flexibility, culture, everything about the people, everything about the organization. So this last chapter takes all this learning, and now what you're going to do is you're going to start thinking as an organization that is a learning organization. And to become a learning organization, that means its culture has to be one that embraces new changes, embraces learning. So let's go into chapter 16 first. Well, what you're going to do is forces a change. Why do we change? Certain things happen in our lives as individuals. Certain things happen within companies' life cycle, where either the product is obsolete, the product is a new product. So something happens, either it's external, internal, that forces an organization to look how it's operating and how to maximize its efficiency through its resources, as human resources, and also through process improvement. So you have Lewin's change model. If out of all the models you ever remember, just think of the Lewin's change model. He basically looked at his model when unfreezing, changing, and refreezing. I want you to take an analogy. Ice cube tray. You have a regular ice cube tray, little square trays. I've got the ice cubes, and I made this favorite concoction. It's really nice. But my customer, so I got the ice cubes. It's all frozen. It's there. That's the culture. It's been there. It's always the same ice cube tray. But now, for some reason, someone wants a different type of an ice cube. I want one that has a smiley face ice cube. Do I throw away all the resources that I have? Or, in other words, do I get rid of all my employees and bring a whole new culture? Or I take that ice cube tray, unfreeze it. That means change the culture, take it all apart, bring it down to its basic element, transfer it into the new shell, that's the new culture that I want, or the new organization, and then refreeze it. And now I have the ice cream, same content, same individual, same majority of the same content that's inside the original ice cube tray, only now it has a smiley face, may have ears on it, whatever, because I changed the form. This is what happens. As a culture, we come up with ideas, we have our own ideas, we're very stubborn as human beings, this is the way we want it, and so we're frozen. So now I have to unfreeze it, and we'll look at different ways of how do I bring the urgency to the people to think that I got to change something. I unfreeze it, and when I unfreeze it, I benchmark and bring in a new process, everything else that makes sense for the new organization, train the individuals, and then now once they have this new process, procedures, new titles, new environment, I refreeze it. That means I reaffirm the culture. I have policies, I have stroking, I have positive reinforcement, maybe even sometimes negative reinforcement, and now I have a brand new culture going forward. And you'll see a lot of, through the reading, you see a lot of companies went through a lot of cultural change, and we're always changing as individuals, okay? So then there's different systems. You have systems approach. When you're doing the changing, sometimes you may just want to change your process or a system. Sometimes you want, if you're doing a massive thing, you have to change the mission statement. Look at IBM. IBM was well known for its computers, personal computers, and it's still well known for its mainframe computers. IBM's kind of sidestepped out of the computer business because there's so much competition and there's a very low profit margin on the computer per se, unless they have a new invention or something different. So instead of doing computers, building computers, IBM is now into consulting. They understand the computer, they understand the systems, they created the computers. So their main focus and where the money is at, they'll come in and they'll set up network systems, security systems, work with computer systems, bring in training, everything else from a consultant providing a service. non-tangible item versus a tangible item for a computer. They still make computers, but they outsource a lot of the work. Okay, so that was a whole cultural change, a whole shift, not only for the company internally, but for all its customers outside. So when they look at IBM, they look at it more as a consulting firm now that'll help them with their computer or IT needs. Okay, and then steps to organizational change. Right, if you want people to change, you have to there's an urgency. If I all of a sudden want to change my eating habit, it may be because I'm overweight and I'm having some health issues, and the doctor says, hey, you got to change, you got to cut out the sugar. So now there's an urgency. So now I said, hey, I better do this if I want to extend my life expectancy. You know, develop a vision and a strategy. And not only you as a vision and strategy, you have to pass it on to all your employees, anchor new approaches and cultures. So you have different kind of attributes. And that's when you start bringing in different people into the culture to kind of change the culture. You don't want to get rid of the whole culture because a lot of the culture is good. You've got a lot of people that are very loyal. What you want to do is change your focus and that's based on the culture, and eventually they'll start changing and being more of a receptive, adaptive type of culture that's successful in this ever-changing environment. Okay, organizational development. They're going to talk about OD, organizational development consultants come in. A lot of times it's better to have someone from the outside come in to say, hey, here's how you're operating, and they got an expertise, they got a model, and they'll be able to help change it. Also, when they're doing the training and everything else, if people start bringing, hey, we always did it this way, he or she is an outside consultant or organizational development specialist, and they'll say, hey, I understand that, but let's try this way, because they don't come with the baggage, you don't come with all that. If employees say, hey, our contract says this, they could always say, we don't understand the contract, we understand the contract, we're not part of the contract issue. That's something the management will be at end of the session, and you'll be able to ask those questions then. Okay, and now, why do people resist change? If I want to change the culture, I have to understand the basic element is the people within the culture, the workforce. You know, they've done this job all their life. They're good at it. They understand it. There's no stress or anything else. They know the best ways. They know all the shortcuts. They know what works, what doesn't work. And so there's a resistance to that. So, you know, it's the unknown. So you'll work with them through training. Hey, this is something. You try to sell them. Look, I can make them do it by forcing them, but then I don't have the compliance. I would rather sell them the idea. That's where the marketing comes in into organizational behavior and management. I could sell them the idea. Here's what makes sense for you. Okay, loss of status, job security, have a different title. They may fallen a little different in the new organizational chart, may not be happy, different personality conflicts. You get different individuals coming into the organization now because you're doing a change, and they may not be working. A lot of people work. Remember when you look at Herzberg a while back in motivation, and also with Maslow, we're social people. We like to be with the same people. We feel comfortable. We feel safe. We make friendship. We don't want change. Some people don't change or get promoted because they want to leave their friends. But now you're changing, you're turning their whole life upside down. Okay, and now commitment to change. How do I get people to commit to change? You know, you have the meetings, you have the training, you have people from all levels. It can't be viewed as from the top pushing down. It has to be at all levels, vertical, horizontal. Everyone has got an input into this change. Okay, now strategies for overcoming resistance. Remember, you're going to have to resist them. You have education, communication, the number one. That's the best way to go. Participation, involvement, get everybody involved. Facilitation, support. Tell them here after we bring in the new process, we will have the support. We'll be in there. We'll have training. We're not sure it's going to work. Be honest with them, okay? Manipulation of cooperation. Sometimes you can manipulate people. People don't like being manipulated. Some people, that's what they want. You have to manipulate them to try something. Here, try this. You know, look how you manipulate a child. You'll sugarcoat or put something in there to have him eat the vitamins. You know, the vitamins are good for him, but he or she's got this mindset, I'm not going to eat the vitamins. And same here. So some manipulation, but that's the last resort. That is not the best way to get people to buy in. And then worse than manipulation is cohesive. I could say, you will do this. You have no choice. Some individuals will resist you to the end and do not want to change. Those individuals either will have a buyout, or you have to use the coercive methods by disciplinary action if he doesn't do something, and work through the regular procedure and then terminate the employee. There's nothing about it. You're changing, you have to go forward. You can't, for a few people that don't want to change, remember, it is the organization, it is the company function, it is changing, it's evolving, and its culture has to come with it. That means the employees has to come with it. Okay, so that's for chapter 16. Interesting chapter. You'll do well. What do we have this week? The reading. You're going to read chapter 16. You're going to do quizzes on chapter 16 and what do you call it? One quiz, 10 questions. You're going to do a Connect forum. I think on this one here. I think you're going to do a Connect. I'm going to let you do a Connect. If I ain't mistaken on the Connect, I didn't. It's worth 15. It's worth 15 points. Because some people use the Connect to study for the final exam. Chapter 16 is in there. I think I may basically give you the points, so you don't have to do it. If you want to do it, you do it. But if you are a Connect user, I'll give you the 15 points. Let's see how you do it in the form. Okay, so now part of the Connect, what you're going to have to do with the Connect is you're almost going to have to do a Connect. I'll give you, it's 15 points you're going to do the Connect. Here's what you're going to do. When you do the Connect, part of the Connect, there is an assessment. The assessment is how susceptible you are to change. So you'll do the assessment, you do Connect, get your 10 points or 15 points or whatever I set it up for, and then you go into your forum. Your first part of the forum is tell them how you scored, tell them what you think about change, have you been in a change, and the rest of the forum I want you to start, so you do that post, responding to me. The rest of the forum, what I want you to do is ask questions about your business, your research paper. Now, you could ask, you post the questions. I'll try to respond to some of them, but if you've been in this group as a network, part of this whole class is that you learn to communicate and help each other out as you would developing a network. So when you post a question, the subject matter, hey, I don't know how to do an APA style. Do I have to do an APA style? Yes, you have to do an APA style. The only APA style in your research paper, I'm looking at a citation. If you have Microsoft Word 2010, you go into reference, you look at APA, you look at the citations, you click down from MLA to Chicago, or to, and you clip it down to APA, American Psychological Association. That's what APA stands for. MLA stands for Modern Language Association. You click on that. If you're going to do a bibliography on your resources, you'll click on a bibliography and you go for APA. The only difference between APA and MLA is APA for business or for social science. It will always include the year that the article or the research data has been developed. This is important for business because we're always going forward. I'm always working with the most current data. If it's 5, 10, I'm not looking only 5 years, it's very long for me. I'm looking at the most current data, 1, 2, 3 years, because I have to adjust going forward. I can't use old data when the whole environment is changing differently with technology and everything else. So that's the only difference with APA. Otherwise, the citations are similar and the bibliography is similar. So you should do well on that. So remember, ask the questions in the forum. Now, I want you to help each other out as a network. I will, some questions I will answer, but if you read it someplace, or you saw it in the syllabus, or you saw in the rubric that's included in there, help somebody else. That's how you're going to be graded on this one. Okay, it's the easy 28 points. You don't have to do all the maximum forms, but try to help out. Make sure you're active if you want to at least get the easy 20 points. Okay, so you do the Connect, 10 or 15 points, whatever I have it. You do the quiz, 10 points, and you do the forum, 50, and then you start working on your business plan. Your research paper, which is due this Saturday. It should have been done Friday, but I extended it to Saturday. In the following week, you're going to have the final by Wednesday or middle of the week. Okay, so what do you need in a research paper? Minimum of 3,000 words. I don't care how many pages you do, it's minimum of 3,000 words. And you're going to be sending the research paper to me within Blackboard in week 7. You're going to see an item there that says click here to drop off research paper. You're going to go in there, it'll have instructions what to do, and you'll go after you read the instructions, when you click on there, and you'll see browse your computer, that's yours, you find your flash drive, you connect it, and it basically will attach it to it, and you hit submit, and you're finished. And when you go back in the gradebook, what you'll see is a green asterisk until I grade it. Now look, If you submit, whatever you submit, it has to be submitted. If you're using Microsoft Word, uh, uh, it has to be submitted in a Word document. That means Microsoft Word 2003 or Microsoft Word 2007. 2003, you'll see a doc, DOC at the end of your file that you saved. Word 2010, you'll see a DOCX. If you don't have Microsoft Word, or if you don't have either 2003 or 2005, but you have uh, Microsoft Works, which is a Word Perfect, or you have Apple or Macintosh software, what you basically will have to do is when you save it as if it doesn't have the word option in their Microsoft Word, because Apple does have that because they interchange back and forth. But if you have a program that doesn't have that, save it as an RTF file. RTF file is a rich text file, which means any browser could open up. It may not have the same formatting, but I'll be able to open up with Word or any browser that I have. Or you could save it as a PDF file, which is Adobe Reader everyone has. It just takes a picture of it, and I can still open up and read it. But do not send it through the email, because I won't open it up. A lot of times it gets corrupt, or sometimes it won't go through because you have the file maybe too large, but you'll basically send it through a Blackboard, and that's how you do the grading and everything else. Okay, so that'll take care of this week. You have a busy week. You have Connect, one chapter only, so get that out of the way, get into the forum, respond to my one question on the assessment. Go in there and start asking about the research paper. Remember, you need 8 outsiders, 8 sources other than from the book. You use a book as one. So go outside when you're writing your research paper. If you're any of the chapters within the book, but you're going to have different sources that you'll cite within your research paper. 3,000 words. You think about 300 words to a page. So that's either 7 or 8 pages. 12-point font or 11-point font. Space and a half or double space. I think that's what APA calls for, and we should be good. So we're almost at the end. You're almost there. This will be the last, what do you call it, YouTube you'll probably see from me. So I wish you all the best of luck. And remember, this is Management 280. We'll be doing the last chapter 16 in organizational change and learning organization, offered by Harper College. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. I'll see you within the forums. Hopefully, I'm waiting to read your research papers. I learned so much about them. So have a nice day. Thank you very much. Bye.